Welcome to Zakai Maths. Today in this video I'm going to go through some booster materials with you to just boost your confidence before you go into your calculator exam, whether it is the second or the third paper. So starting off with foundation content, we're just going to have a look at some content from foundation, some additional content, which means some of these questions might be on a higher and foundation paper. So that means you would be able to just get grades all the way up to 5. So we're going to cover all the bases for you. So starting off from first question, if 6 tickets cost £5.10, what is the cost of 9 tickets? So what we need to make sure that we have in front of us is our calculator. So because it is a calculator paper, so we need to use a calculator, of course. We don't want to make any mistakes unless it is a straightforward question. So 6 tickets, so I'm just going to write down 6 tickets will cost £5.10. £5.10. What I can do is I can go down to 1 ticket and go back up to 9. So in order for me to go down to 1 ticket, I need to divide it by 6. So I'm going to divide this by 6. And when I divide this by 6, I get 85 pence. So from 1 ticket to 9 tickets, we times it with 9, we times this by 9, and well, I type it on my calculator, it's going to give me £7.65 as my final answer. Next question, what is 22% of 80 kilograms? Right, with this question you can use 2 different methods depending on which one you prefer. So method number 1, I'm going to write down method 1 here. And method 2 here. Method 1 is going to be the calculator paper, of course. 22% converted into a decimal, you do 22 divided by 100, which will give you 0.22. And if I was to times this with 80 and type it into my calculator, it should give me 17.6 kg. Now, I know some of you prefer to do these questions with dividing it into 10%, 10%, 1%, and 1%. So 10% is 8. 10% of 80 is 8 again. 1% is 80 pence. 80 pence. I think of it as money when I'm doing these calculations. So 8, 8, 80, 80. So that is going to be 17.6 kg again. So it's the same thing. Next question. In a test, out of 10 marks, the results of a group of students are 1, 3, 3, 8, 8. So what is the mean mark? So mean mark is going to be, it's when you're trying to find out mean of list of numbers. So we've got 1, 3, 3, 8, 8. What we need to do is we need to add them up and divide it by how many there are. So that's going to be 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 8 plus 8 divided by 5, because there are 5 numbers. So when I type this into my calculator, it will give me 4.6. Next one, what is the median mark? Remember, guys, we need to write these in order. This is given to us in order, but if in the exam you have your list as 3, 1, 3, 8, 8, you need to write 1 first. You need to write from smallest to biggest, as that's how I usually list them. So 1, 3, 3, 8, 8, and we are trying to find out the one that's bang in the middle. So that goes, that is going, and 3 is going to be the median. The pass mark is 4. What percentage of students failed the test? So if they pass when they get 4, 2 out of 5 students, let me just rewrite this as a fraction. So 2 out of 5 students passed. They're asking for the fail. So 3 out of 5 students failed then. So 3 students, because one got 1, the other one got 3, the other one got 3. So that means those 3 would fail the test. So 3 out of 5 failed the test. And any fraction, remember, multiplied with 100, which in the end will give us 300 out of 5, would give us a percentage. So that's going to be 60%. So 60% of students actually failed the test. Next question. If a fair die is rolled, what is the probability of getting a 3? Oh, we've only got one chance out of 6 because there are 6 sides to a die and one of them would be 3. So it's going to be 1 out of 6. Okay, I'm going to come down to this bus question here. A bus leaves a bus stop at 10:32 and takes 48 minutes to reach the next one. So I've got 10:32 and it's going to take us 48 minutes to reach the next one. So that means if I add on 0.48 to it, that's going to give me 10.80. So I know in an hour there are 60 minutes, so that means it's going to be 11 and there's 20 minutes left from 60, 11:20. This next question, you could just simply type it into your calculator or you can just convert it into the numerical value. So if you type it into your calculator, what I get is actually 43110, and I need to write this as standard form. So since we're trying to write standard form, it has to be in between 1 and 10. So it's going to be 4 point something. So your final answer is going to be 4.311. You can write the 0, you can just leave it out, times 10 to the power of 4. Express 1 out of 25 as a percentage. Any fraction, again, we mentioned it earlier, any fraction multiplied by 100 is going to give you the percentage. So if I times this by 100, that's going to give me 100 out of 25. And this would be 4%. Okay. Now, this person is paid traveling expenses every time he drives his car for work. He is paid £12 for each journey. So he will be paid £12 for each journey plus 37p per mile. How much is he paid for a 50-mile journey? So if they are going for a 50-mile journey, so that means it's going to be 50 times 37p then. And if I do that and type it into my calculator, it would be £30.50. There you go. Now, next question is a to the power of 4 times a to the power of 2 is a to the power of n. When we are multiplying with same base, we need to remember that we're adding 4 and 2. So that's going to be a to the power of 6. Therefore, n is going to be 6. But I'm just going to quickly show you guys that this is actually a to the 4 is the same thing as a times a times a times a. And a squared is the same thing as a times a. Let me use a different color. It's the same thing as a times a. So this is going to be a to the power of 6. So n would be 6. What number lies half between 17.625 and 17.635? So in order for me to be able to find out the midpoint between two values, whether it is the coordinates or any two numbers, we need to add them up and half it, and that will give you the section that's in the middle. So you need to do 17.625 plus the 17.635, and then whatever that is, we need to half it, and that's going to give me 17 point. So this answer will be divided by 2, and that's 17.63. There you go. Right, this next question is asking us this. They give us some information about 80 children are awarded for the following certificates: platinum, gold, silver, bronze. What fraction of the children got a bronze certificate? So we've got 40 out of 80. So if I just write it down as a fraction, that's going to be 40 out of 80. And this could obviously be simplified. So it's going to be 1441, 1480 is 2. So it's half. On a pie chart, what angle would be used for the sector representing bronze certificates? So the bronze certificates is representing half the amount, so it's if I have a pie chart, it's half the amount, that means it is going to be 180 degrees. Now, the next part is, so we have this information, they want us to write it down as a fraction first. So this is actually 5 out of 80, which is 1 out of 16. So you can simplify that, but if you're dividing both by 5, the next one is going to be 15 out of 80, which is 3 out of 16. Next one is 20 out of 80, which is 1 out of 4. Next one is 40 out of 80, which is 1 out of 2, which is half of that. So for us to be able to find out the angle, we know all around the pie chart is going to give you 360 degrees. So what we need to do is we need to times 1 out of 16 with 360. So 1 out of 16 times 360 would give me 22.5. Next one, 3 out of 16 multiplied by 360 is going to give me 67.5. By the way, I'm just using the calculator for these ones, guys, okay? And quarter of 360 is going to give me 90, and half of 360 will give me 180 degrees. There you go. Let me just rewrite this. We did 1 out of 16 times 360, and that's why we've got 22.5. Now, this next question, I'm going to look at this describing a single transformation that maps triangle P onto triangle Q. I can see that from P to Q, I am going down 1 step and going along 1, 2, 3 steps if I was to just compare these two points. So if I'm going down 1 step, remember this is a translation, so you're just moving the shape from one place to the next. So therefore it's going to be a translation by and we write the translations as whatever's happening, whatever movement is taking place for the x-axis, whether it is going towards right or left, we write it on top, and then underneath it we're going to write down what direction we're taking for the y-axis. So since we went down 1, it's going to be -1 for the y-axis, and we went towards right 3 steps for the x-axis, so that's going to be 3. Next question, find the length of the side marked with a question mark. Okay, so we're going to try and find out this section here. This is Pythagoras then. It's going to be a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I knew that it was going to be a Pythagoras theorem is because for GCSE maths, if you've got a right angle triangle in front of you, the only option you have is either you're either going to be using the trig values or trigonometry, or you're going to be using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you're either using SOHCAHTOA or a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So it's going to be x squared plus 26.9 squared is equal to 26 squared. Then I need to take the 20. No, sorry, right start. This is 26. This is going to be 26 squared. And this is hypotenuse, therefore it's going to be 26.9 squared. So I need to take 26 squared away from both sides, which x squared would be 44.61. So I did 26.9 squared on my calculator, and I took 26 squared away, and it gave me 44.61. And in order for me to be able to get rid of this squared, I need to square root both sides. So x would give me 6.9. So next question is, a bag contains 20 counters of 3 different colors, 6 red, 3 blue, and 11 yellow. 6 red, 3 blue, and 11 yellow. Okay, they're asking us to find out what is the probability as a decimal of not drawing a blue counter from the back. So apart from the blue, then I can pick up anything else, which is 6 red and 11 blue. So I'm going to do 6 red and 11 yellow. Sorry, it's going to be 11 plus 6. That's 17, and the total is 20. So it's going to be 17 out of 20, which, if I was to type this in my calculator, it would give me what? 17 out of 20. It's actually 0.85 as our final answer. Right, what is the reciprocal of 9.7? So we know that 9.7 is the same thing as 97 out of 10. And if I'm trying to find out the reciprocal, the fraction is going to just flip upside down. So it's going to be 10 out of 97. Next question is angles around the point. So we know 2x plus x plus x plus x. So all of this should add up to 360 degrees. 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 x's that needs to equate to 360. In this case, I need to divide both sides with 5, which is going to give me x to be 72 degrees. Next question is asking us to find out the area of this circle. So area is going to be pi times the radius squared. So 7.4 is the diameter, so radius is going to be half of that. So if you just divide 7.4 by 2, then you will be able to find out what the radius is. So it's going to be pi times 3.7 squared. So 3.7 squared times pi gives me 43 meters squared. Okay. Now, let me just move this 43 meters squared along here so that I have enough space for the next question. Now, solve 50 out of x plus 2 is equal to 5. What we need to do is we need to multiply both sides with x out of x plus 2 first. X plus 2. So this x plus 2 and this x plus 2 is going to cancel out. So we've got 50 is equal to 5 times x plus 2. So 5 times x plus 2 is going to be 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 2 is 10. It's 50. We take 10 away from both sides. That's going to give us 5x is, I'm just going to try and fit it here, 5x equals 40. We divide both sides with 5, and we find x to be 8. There you go. A fast snail goes 40 centimeters in a minute. What speed is that in kilometers per hour? So if we are going 40 centimeters in 1 minute, we're trying to find out what it is in an hour. So that means we know in an hour we've got 60 minutes. So from 1 to 60, we're timing it with 60. We're going to do the same thing, 40 times 60, which gives me 2,400 centimeters. And if every kilometer is 100,000 centimeters, this is a fact that you guys need to remember. This is not going to be given to you, by the way. We are trying to figure out what this answer is in kilometers. So what we need to do is we need to divide. So if I was to just write it down, it would look like this. So for me to be able to find out what this section is, I need to divide 2,400 with 100,000. So if I do 2,400 divided by 100,000, that would give me 0.024 kilometers per hour. Now, next question. If 3 out of 8 of a length is 24 meters, what is the whole length? Okay, so imagine we've got 8 pieces. This is divided into 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 boxes. And the 3 boxes are representing 24, which means each box is going to be 8, because 24 divided by 3 is going to give you 8. So each box is 8. So essentially we ended up with 8 times 8, really. We've got 8 lots of 8, so that's going to be 64. Okay, when a is equal to -5 and b is equal to -3, find the value of b squared minus 4a. So what we need to do is we need to substitute these values, and we need to do -3 squared, take away 4 times -5. -3 squared is 9, -4 times -5 is going to give us a positive 20. That means our final answer is going to be 29. Work out the size of the marked angle. So this bit here is what they're asking us to find out. So obviously this is our Pac-Man. Opposite the Pac-Man is going to be opposite. This is going to be adjacent. This is hypotenuse. This is definitely an indication that I need to use trig. So I'm gonna have to use TOA. So adjacent and hypotenuse is what I could use for this angle. So I'm gonna use this. So this would be cos x. I don't know what the angle is. Adjacent divided by the hypotenuse, which is 21 out of 23. And if I press Shift cos, because this is what we do when we're trying to find out the angle, because we know the answer, we're going back to the angle, so we need to do the inverse of that. So it's going to be Shift cos, which will give you cos to the power of -1, 21 out of 23. And it is 24.07 something, which I'm going to round to 24. Okay. The area of this square is 1,329 millimeters squared. Find the length of one side. So since this is a square, I know that whatever this side is, the other side is the same. So if I call this x and x, x times x is going to be x squared. So this x squared is the same thing as 1,329. So x squared is the same thing as 1,329. So we need to square root both sides to find out what x is. And square root of 1,329 would give me 36. So x is going to be 36 millimeters. Max and Alex share some money in the ratio of 5:8. Alex gets 276 more than Max. So this is 5, this is 8. So Max to Alex is 5:8. So the difference between 5 and 8, which Alex has as extra section, is going to be 3. So 8 take away 5 is 3. So 3 is represented by 276 then. So if 3 parts are 276, if I divide 276 by 3, I would be able to find out what one part of this ratio is. So if I do 276 divided by 3, that's going to give me 92. How much does Max get? If one part is 92 pounds, Max gets 5 times that, so it's going to be 5 times 92 pounds, which is 460 pounds. Next question. The first 3 terms of a geometric sequence are 6, 12x, 24x squared. So from 6 to 12, they definitely multiplied it with 2 to get 12. And then there is an x included in this, because if I was to go from 6 to 12x, I'm going to have to times it with 2x. I'll do the same thing here. We'll times it with 2x. They're asking us to find out the next 2 terms. This is x, by the way. Now, the next term is going to be multiplied with 2x again. 24 times 2x is going to give you 48x cubed. And 48x cubed times 2x is going to be 96x to the power of 4. When a fish tank is only 8% full, it contains 1.76 litres. So we're going to have to go up to 100 to find out the full capacity. So we need to do 8% is 1.76. If I go to 1%, I'm going to have to divide it by 8. So that's going to give me 0.22 as the thing. So to go back up to 100 to find out the full capacity, I'm going to have to times it with 100. So it's going to give me 22 litres. There you go. The graph shows the lines y equals 3x plus 2 and y equals negative 2x plus 7. Work out the lines intersect. So when they intersect, that we can equate them to each other. So if y is equal to 3x plus 2 and the other y is equal to 2x plus 7, I can say that 3x plus 2 is the same thing as negative 2x plus 7, and when they intersect, that means that they are, the values in at that point is going to be the same. That's why we can equate them. So what we need to do in these kind of scenarios is that we need to get rid of the smallest x first, which would be the negative 2x. So we need to add 2x to both sides, which would give us x plus 2 is equal to 7. We then take, oh, that's 5x. 5x plus 2 is equal to 7. Take away 2 from both sides. 5x is going to be 5, and x divided by 5, x would be 1. So when x is 1, when x is equal to 1, I can substitute this x into this or this equation to find out what y is. I'm going to pick the one on the left-hand side because that has the least amount of negatives in it. So y would be 3 times 1 plus the 2. So y would be 3 plus 2, and that's going to be 5. Okay, so it's going to be x first, y next. That would mean it's going to be 1 and 5. Work out the length of the diagonal of this square. Round your answer to one decimal place. Okay, so this means if this is 4.3 and it's a square, this side is going to be 4.3 centimeters as well. And we know that this is going to be 90 degrees. So this obviously is going to be a Pythagoras theorem. So two short sides are given. We're trying to find out the hypotenuse. So we need to do 4.3 squared plus 4.3 squared is equal to x squared. I'm calling this question mark x. So when I do 4.3 squared and 4.3 squared on my calculator, I'm going to get 36.98 is equal to x squared. Then I need to square root both sides to find out what x is. We need to do the inverse of squaring. So when we square root this, it gives me 6.1 centimeters for this. Okay, now, next question. Find the area of this sector. Round your answer to one decimal place. So area of a sector, this is, imagine if this was a full circle, you would be doing area of the circle is pi times the radius squared. However, this is 38 degrees out of the 360 degrees. So whatever I find out as area of the circle, I'm going to have to times that with 38 out of 360. So what we have here is pi times 13.4, and then we're going to need to times that with 38 out of 360. Which gives me 59.5 millimeters squared. Right, next one. So we need to expand this bracket to just compare it with the other side to see what A, B, and C would be. 3x times x, 3x times 4, negative 5 times x, negative 5 times 4. So 3x times x is going to give me 3x squared, plus 3x times 4 is 12x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. And that is the same thing as ax squared plus bx plus c. So when I collect the like terms, it's going to give me 3x squared. 12x take away 5x. This is squared, by the way. I don't know why I wrote it like this. Right, 12x take away 5x is going to be 7x. And we're taking 20. So in this case, 3 is A, B is going to be 7, and C is going to be negative 20. And that would be the end of our revision, guys. So good luck in your exams, and watch out for more videos that's going to come up on the channel. See you later.